the method is suitable for what? So filtration is used to separate insoluble solids like sand in water. Okay, in filtration, we use a filter paper like the picture in page 16. We use in filter paper, and we made this method different times in the science lab or chemistry lab. We use a filter paper and we mix the solute in the solvent first, sand in water, and we put some of them into a filter paper, and we have a conical flask, a funnel. We put the filter paper in a funnel, and the funnel is put into a beaker or a conical flask, like in page 16. Right. After that, which we have two substances. We have two substances, sand and water. Which one will pass through the filter paper, sand or water?
water.
So water will pass from the filter paper, and it is called will be called filtrate. So filtrate is the substance that pass through the filter paper. This is another definition. Filtrate is the substance, normally the liquid خلاص. It's the substance that pass through the filter paper. So the substance that pass through the filter paper is called filtrate. Okay, right. What about sand? Sand will pass or will not pass?
Not bad.
Will not pass because it has large size compared to the size of the pores in the filter paper. Okay, the pores or the holes in the filter paper are smaller than the size of the sand part, so it will not pass. So, what about sand? We call it residue. So what's a residue? A residue that is the solid that can't pass through the filter paper. The solid that remain or that can't pass through the filter paper. Okay. So this is the first method to separate different substances from each other. The first method, and of course this method is used for purification because we separate different substances from each other. Okay. What, Muhammad? Residue is the solid that remains on the filter paper. The solid that remains on the filter paper is called residue. Okay. Filtrate is the liquid that passes through the filter paper is called filtrate, and it is normally liquid or water. Right. The second method that we will talk about is called, number 2, we have decanting. We have
أستاذ
here, yes,
في الاختبار حيكون choose ولا حيكون based على السير؟
whatever. You have to be ready. You have to be ready. Okay. Right. Decanting is the second method, and it is used to separate solid liquid like filtration. But what is the difference between using filtration and using decanting? As we
Decanting for
said,
soluble.
sorry, Saud, raise your voice.
Decanting is used to separate soluble. Because
Huh?
solid is soluble in liquid.
No. We said that we can't separate solution. We can separate solution by, we will talk about it at the end of the lesson, by simple distillation or fractional distillation when we have a solution. But in these methods, filtration and decanting, the solid is insoluble. The solid here is insoluble. We have here in both, we have insoluble, solid. Both are insoluble, but In filtration, we have here solid with small size. Have the solid with small size. Okay, but in decanting, we use a solid. We have a solid with large size. With large size. So the difference between use filtration and decanting, in filtration, they are both insoluble solid. In insoluble solid, we have here insoluble solid. But in filtration, we have the solid has a small size. But in decanting, the solid has large size. For example, we have stone or gravel in water. We have stones or gravel in water. Right. So stones have large size. Gravel has large size. So we can separate them using a filter paper. Okay. So we use decanting. Decanting اللي هي الصب خلاص. Decanting. So we use decanting to separate large solids with large size, and they are insoluble in water in mixture. Okay. We have another method, number 3. Number 3 is called centrifuge. Centrifuge, or you call it centrifugation. Centrifuge or centrifugation. We can call it centrifugation. Centrifugation. In centrifugation, as we said before, it is like an instrument inside the blood labs, which we put the blood inside it. It is like a printer. It is like a printer, and we put the mixture inside test tubes, and we put it inside this instrument. Okay, right. And we when we switch it on, it turns around and spins. This is called centrifuge. Centrifuge. Right. Centrifuge is used to separate also solids in liquid. Solid in liquid, which are insoluble, also insoluble. But we use this method to separate tiny size. So the particles of the solid here has tiny size. So we have here three types of this mixture. The first type is solid with small size in liquid, and we use filtration. The second one, solid with large size in liquid, and we use decanting. When the solid has tiny size, we use in liquid, we use centrifugation. In centrifugation, we have small size like dust in water. Dust has tiny size, so we can't separate it using filtration or decanting, because dust has small size, and some of the dust can pass through the pores or through the holes. So we make centrifugation. Right. After centrifugation, we can separate. We can use also filtration. After that, we can use filtration. We can use two methods to separate a definite mixture. We can use centrifugation first, then we use filtration or decanting. We can use also or decanting, but after centrifugation.